Well, when we tip our servers, our bartenders at a restaurant, we're typically focused on, is it 15, 18, or 20%, even more if you're John Favoli, if the service is really that good. Few of us think about the negative impact that tipping may have on servers. Few of us think about it. I've never thought about it.
Right, I haven't either. And most of us certainly don't realize that it may even be racist or sexist. Shari O is here to sort through all of this. Oh, come on, Shari.
I know, right?
Racist and sexist?
Yeah.
How is tipping racist?
Well, here's the thing. If you look back at history, John, at the end of the 1800s, a few things were happening. We had rich Americans traveling to Europe, bringing back the idea of tipping. We had the Industrial Revolution with farm workers moving into cities and factories and needing places to get quick, cheap meals. And then we had the end of slavery and freed slaves looking for work in a culture where a lot of people frankly felt they didn't need to be paid a wage. And so as a result, the idea of tipping in the food service industry really evolved. It was codified by FDR when he created the minimum wage during and after the Depression with 2 tiers. So all of us get paid a guaranteed federal minimum wage, but if you work in a tipping industry like restaurant serving, for example, then your minimum wage is a fraction of what everyone else gets paid. Your employer is supposed to make up the difference, but we know that in about 85% of instances there's some kind of violation. Right. So as a result, even today we have black food service workers and servers being paid an average about $4 less than whites, and it's even worse for black women. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to women. Let's talk about how is it sexist?
Well, you know, that's interesting too. So 7% of America's working women are actually working in restaurants as waitresses, for example. And yet, that's about 6 million people. And yet 30% of the sexual harassment claims occur in the food service industry. That's 5 times any other industry. One of the reasons for that is when you work for tips, you're actually working for the customer. And so there's a circumstance that really pressures women to sexualize themselves to get paid a higher tip. And oftentimes management is also putting that pressure on women to do that. The other problem, aside from the immediate problem that presents, is that food service and waitressing is a first job for a lot of women. And so what happens as young girls, they experience this, they move into the workforce, including in other industries, and they carry with them that tolerance for sort of bad behavior in the workplace.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
be extra nice to the customer. Exactly. Well, so with all this said, should we end tipping?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that, because there's actually, for the first time, been a proposal in Congress to do that. Several high-profile restaurateurs are doing that, and that's already been done in 7 states. So certainly it would make it easier for us. We don't have to do the math, especially if you've had a few drinks, right? The thing is, opponents are saying it's going to result in worse service, but, you know, there are psychological studies that show that providing an unknown incentive after the fact is not really much of an incentive anyway. Some folks say it's going to raise prices. Well, certainly then the owners of the restaurants would include the tip in the price of the meal, and you'd pay more for the meal, but overall you'd probably pay the same amount net. So, you know, it is a movement that's gaining momentum. The thing we need to know, even if you don't feel that this is morally wrong, is that people in the food service industries have 3 times the poverty rate and use food stamps at twice the rate, which is costing all of us more money. This is a hugely fast-growing industry, the 2nd fastest in the nation. So certainly our public dollars might be put to better use if the restaurant owners pay their people more money.
Hey, catch up on that.
Good explanation, a real eye-opener.
In under 3 minutes.
Well, the debate goes on then on tipping.
Yes. Okay, I won't tip you. All right.
Thanks, Shari, for being here again today.
Let's tip the weatherman, though, today, one last time for a good